Welcome, wonderful people, to the Sunday rune and card reading. And what a beautiful day here in the UK it looks to be today. Wonderful people, I hope that you are staying safe and well and are navigating our current situation in a way that is actually okay with you guys. There is so much learning to be had at the moment, but some of it is very, very tough indeed. So, wonderful people, thank you so much to those of you who are returning to my readings and who are already a part of this amazing community that we have here on YouTube. Guys, welcome back. So much love to you, and thank you so much for your love, your comments, your support of me and your support of one another. You are absolutely amazing, and welcome anyone who is new and joining us today. Today we're actually going to be working with the energy of feathers. For those of you that are new to my readings, I'm Jenny Florence. I do this reading, this pick a card reading, every week. It's usually on a Sunday, and I also do the big monthlies. I also do a lot of free stuff, so do check out the information box below because I do various subscriber offers. I give a free private reading to one of my subscribers every month. I also give away a pack of the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards as well. It's actually a limited first edition pack too. So wonderful people, let's get started. This is the part of the reading where I talk a little bit about the energy that's come through and the messages that have come through to guide us for each of the 3 pick a card readings. So if you are new to the channel and you just want to fast forward to the actual reading, if you've already tuned in at the beginning and you know which one you're drawn to, then by all means, you know, the timestamps are in the information box. You should be able to do that. But a lot of people have really enjoyed sitting with the preparation that I go through, and so I now actually put that into the video as well. So it's interesting, I've actually received several emails over the last few days about people making inquiries about feathers and the energy of them and the healing energy of them. And I also found some feathers this week, and so not all of these, some of these have come from different places, but I wanted to, well, I heard very clearly to use the energy of feathers in this reading. Now, these 2 feathers, as far as I know, came from a red kite, which is a bird of prey. I found them on the same day. I was walking in some woodland, a very special place. It's a place where I go to meditate sometimes, and I found both these feathers on the same day, and during my meditation and as I was walking, red kites, the runes are speaking to us already. I don't know if you heard that. They kind of just started to shuffle all by themselves. They do that sometimes. Oh, and I should say, guys, I know I'm throwing this in, but don't forget, next weekend we have the webinar, the live webinar, Working with Runes, for anyone that's interested in learning that. I mean, again, guys, if you just go to the home channel page and check out the playlist, you'll be able to find all the different stuff that I do, and obviously there's information in the information box below. Back to these. Incredible energy. As I was going into those woods to meditate, the red kites were circling. I found both these feathers, and the energy of the bird of prey, it's like the energy of the eagle. It's obtaining a higher vision. The message that comes through with them, it's an ability to rise above, to see the bigger picture. You know, they have an extraordinary ability to fly high, and yet they can pinpoint something on the ground. Their vision is extraordinary. There is so much symbolism attached to these birds. So this is the energy of reading number 1, obtaining a higher vision, understanding your higher purpose. I'm also hearing coming through too. So reading number 1, these incredible red kite feathers. Now reading number 2, these are woodpecker feathers. These I have found in my garden. I have a pair of woodpeckers who come here on a daily basis to feed. Woodpeckers symbolize perseverance. They let us know, they remind us that if we keep at something, if we keep on persevering, we can achieve our goals, we can reach, things will come to fruition, we can yeah, we can, if we keep on in a steady kind of way. It's got a hard-working, steady, persevering kind of energy, but also in knowing when to pause, when to rest and when to go. That's the kind of flavour of the woodpecker here. We then have 2 pigeon feathers. Now, I know for some people a pigeon is just a pigeon, but I really would like us to acknowledge and recognise that we need to revere all of life. I remember going for a walk with someone and I actually picked up a pigeon feather, and he said to me, "Oh, I wouldn't be interested in a pigeon feather. I'm bird of prey, yes, but not a pigeon feather, nothing like that for me." And I thought, what a shame. We really do need, I think, to revere all of life and recognise that, every insect, every grain of sand, every bird, everything has its place. We are all equal in the scheme of life and in the relevance of our part. And pigeon feathers for me, very, very interesting, because again, I have a little family of pigeons who come here and feed every day. And they remind me to be open and to speak openly about my feelings. I was watching them yesterday, and they are unashamedly courting one another at the moment. They are not afraid to show how they feel. They step up, they flirt outrageously. They're so present, it's untrue. And they are cheerful. They have a lot. They constantly sing, they constantly communicate. As I said, here I have a family that are clearly a family. There's younger ones that are, I guess it's their first year, they've come through the winter. They were born last year. I remember the parents bringing them down when they were first learning to fly, and bringing them down collectively to feed and watching them kind of nurture them. So there's a sense of family, there's a sense of community, there's a sense of not being afraid to show our feelings coming through for reading number 3. I don't know if I need to say too much, but also the recognition, and that's a very clear message coming through. The recognition in these feathers and the energy of the pigeons is there's a humbleness to them. They don't hold the higher vision perhaps, but they get on with the everydayness of living. They actually know what really matters in the realness of everyday life. Connection, community, love, being together, communication. So this is, and it is interesting actually, of course, they are used. Pigeons were traditionally used, homing pigeons were traditionally used. They find their way home. They would carry messages, years and years ago, before we had postal services and things, obviously a long, long time ago. But actually pigeons were used and can still be. People still do fly pigeons. So there's something about being able to carry messages, communicate, that's also coming through. So quite interesting messages attached to reading number 1, reading number 2, and reading number 3. So that is the additional guidance for today. For those of you that are wanting that in a sort of a written format, I will put together a PDF. I do that each week with these readings with the extra guidance and information. And that will be emailed out to the email. If you're on that emailing list, the Sunday Card and Rune reading email list, you will get an email in the next couple of days with that information. It may even be later today, but probably not, I suspect. And there is, of course, a page where everything is in PDF form, and you can download it and print it out if you wish. Also, the extras for the webinars are on that page as well. So let's move these out of our way. Really, really beautiful energy these feathers are bringing today, actually. Let's place them there, and we'll draw some cards. I think that's a little bit out of camera, but I'll bring them back into vision. Actually, I'm not going to. I want to keep them in sight while we... Please excuse me if you can hear I just actually can hear my tummy rumbling, and it's so loud because I had a cup of coffee a minute ago. So if you heard that, I apologise. So first of all, we're actually going to draw the runes for these 3 readings. Okay, so reading number 1. Oh, very strong energy on that one. Reading number 2. And my apologies if you ever see them as they come out. I try to kind of hold them in a position that you can't, because in a way it's much more about trusting our intuition and allowing ourselves to be guided. But let's pop those to one side. Now I've shuffled the cards that we're going to be using already, so we can just splay them out and draw. That's reading number 1. It's going to be reading number 2. Make some space in a moment. And that's reading number 3. Shall we work with next? I know I go a little bit quiet at this point in time, guys, but just bear with me. These are the Wildwood Tarot. For anyone looking at the cards, if you're drawn to any, there is a book and card page on the website. Again, the link is in the information box below, where all the cards that I use, and the runes as well, are photographed and listed, so you'll be able to find out what they are. Okay. And of course, our last webinar in our series of webinars that I'm doing about reading the cards and reading the runes, our last webinar was all about the different packs that you can use and the different kind of interpretations, you know, what they mean, how to use them. There's a whole series of webinars. I think we've got 12 in total running through till September that teach how to work with the cards and runes in a very in-depth way. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out, a lot of really good stuff out on YouTube in terms of learning to read cards quickly, but this is really taking it to a depth and expanding that knowledge and that understanding. Okay, now we're going to just have one each. I heard that really strongly with these cards actually today. Just one card each from this pack. And this is the Gaia pack for those of you that are interested in finding out about the different packs. Again, we talked about this one. This is one of the ones that we looked at in the webinar. Okay, and today we're also going to be using an astrology card as well. Gosh, that one was speaking loudly, I have to say. Very loudly. And last but not least, we will draw from the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards as well. Go. So those wonderful people are our cards. Now, you may find you already know which of the readings you are tuned in with, but I'm going to pause the video It'll flip in a moment so you can see the cards neatly laid out, and then we'll just spend a few moments connecting in with the different readings. So wonderful people, this is the point where we tune in with our intuition and we sit and see which reading we are drawn to. Reading number 1, reading number 2, or reading number 3. Reading number 1 with the energy and message of the red kite, the energy of the eagle, the higher vision, being able to rise above, being able to see a situation with clarity. Reading number 2, we have the energy of the woodpecker, perseverance, keeping going, knowing that we can sustain something, knowing that if we continue, we will actually achieve that which we are aiming for. And reading number 3, governed by the energy of the wonderful wood pigeon feathers, knowing how to be open about our feelings, knowing what matters, being able to connect, to communicate, all about relationship, and being able to share. I think I'm not going to say any more than that, actually. I shall leave that with you guys. If you wish to pause the video, please do so, and I will leave you to be drawn to whichever one is really, really speaking to you. Sometimes I know for some people they will listen to more than one. I know that I find for myself it's sometimes an amalgamation of 2 that I'm drawn to, and those 2 messages then collaborate and really give me the guidance that I'm needing. And of course, you can always return to these readings later in the week or at a later date. I put them all in a playlist, the Sunday Rune and Card Reading playlist. Again, if you go to the home channel, you'll be able to find the playlists and find any of the readings that have been uploaded previously, if you're wanting to tune in for that extra bit of guidance at any time. Wonderful, wonderful people. So much love to you. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 1. Let's have a look at our runes. We have the rune of possessions, of nourishment. We have the rune of journey. And we have the rune of wholeness. This is the path you must follow. Let's move our wonderful red kite feathers over here and have a look at our cards. This is interesting because there is a feeling of something moving forwards here, something emerging or evolving in some way. We have the child. This is new beginnings. The moon, soul. There's a lot of energy here. Expectation. Take action now. Open yourself to possibility. Definitely a lot of energy. 6 of Swords and Ace of Wands. Again, it feels as though maybe there's something that's needing to be moved forwards here. Okay, yes, 2 of Stones, 3 of Stones, and the Archer. And we start with the 3 of Swords. Okay, this is really interesting. Let's see how we're going to lay these cards out. I always feel like with reading number 1, I'm never quite sure how the cards are going to emerge in the layout and until I start. And the others, once they kind of find their way, the others often follow. Not always, of course. Let's put these up here and move the runes over a tiny little bit. So we have the 3 of Swords for me, guys. It suggests that there is some aspect of conflict around you. Something is needing to move forwards. It always suggests for me as if it's a bit like if we have an abscess. It needs to burst in order to heal, and it's that moment when we either see something clearly, or something happens that allows something to shift, or again something that starts a healing process. Something is moving forwards for you guys, and there is an aspect of new beginning here. The 2 of Stones is interesting because it's the female hairs that actually kind of box one another, and it's a prelude to mating. It's a demonstration that the mating game is about to begin. So again, there's a new beginning. 3 of Stones, creativity. Again, 3s again, it's moving things forward. Something is, it's almost like in preparation. I don't know if you guys are in preparation for something, but there has been either some conflict. Given our current situation, for some of you, it may genuinely just be that something has been put on hold, or something has not taken place that you wanted to happen, but there's definitely a build of energy that is going to move forwards here. We have the child, new beginnings. Let's just have a look at what we have here first of all. So we have open yourself to possibility, expectation, and take action now. This is really interesting, these cards, because let's talk about the card of expectation first, because expectation says that, expectation is a form of memory. Our past experiences colour our expectations of future circumstances and outcomes. You are asked to release any form of negative expectations based on past experiences and centre yourself in the infinite possibility of now. This is a bit like, the glass half full or the glass half empty perspective. If we've had a challenging experience, sometimes we're frightened of moving forwards. You're being called to find the courage to move forwards. Whatever's taking place in your world right now, this is the nourishment. You're being called to not to assume that something awful will happen again. It's like taking that risk. It's stepping into the new. But there has been something previously, some kind of a conflict that has held you back or led you to feel that it was unsafe to move forwards. But these runes are suggesting actually that things can move forwards. The rune of journey is interesting because it tallies with the expectation card beautifully. Now, the rune of journey has many meanings. Primarily, it can actually sometimes literally mean that we're going to go on a journey, we're going to travel. But more often than not, it means that we travel inwards and we are removing blocks within us, so that we are freeing ourselves from any limitations that have held us back. It can also mean that something is genuinely starting to move forwards. It can also be a rune that signifies something of, it's like an initiator. Now, we also have the Six of Swords. I'd say that there is still some feeling of choppy waters around you. But again, Ace of Wands, there's an opportunity for a creative move forwards. Your soul is calling for something. Your soul is wanting to move forwards. Your soul is wanting to take that leap. Your soul is needing to be nourished. Something has been holding you back, and it may have been exacerbated by our current circumstances. But what I'm seeing in this reading is an opportunity for you to prepare and to journey inwards and remove those perspectives that may be holding you back. Open yourself to possibility. Almost everyone holds some limiting belief about themselves. These perceptions block us from receiving the infinite support of the universe. This card is an invitation to reassess and to look beyond these limitations, and to recognize that in opening yourself to possibility, you automatically invite positive change into your world. It's almost like you're in this phase of, I say little, but because it might be quite momentous, I think, for some of you, but it feels like a time portal. It's quite interesting. It really does. I'm seeing it's almost like a time portal where you get to kind of sort something out that has been holding you back. We then have take action now. This is a clear and unequivocal message that action on your part is needed now. Manifestation is not simply a process of visioning in and dreaming about your desires. When an opportunity is offered to you, you must also take action. Pay attention to the signs and move forwards fearlessly. I love the energy of moving. Something really is available. The energy is available for you to move forwards. And your soul is calling for you to. That's what I'm really hearing. Three of Stones, creativity. That's for me the leaning into trust. The approaching your situation creatively, removing any blocks. The Archer, again, moving forwards, setting your sights on where you want to go. This is actually a pivotal time for you guys to be literally beginning not only to vision in the future, but taking the first steps towards that, whatever those may be, even in our current circumstances. This is a pivotal time to shift any kind of blocks that have been limiting your perspectives on your own horizons, your own potential, your own beliefs in your own abilities. There's something that does, take action now. Ace of Wands, again, a surge of creative energy. Resources coming available to you sometimes in terms of, I want to say, vision as well. See, this is wonderful, isn't it? Here in this image, he's standing at the top of a mountain with his wand is on fire. This is the energy of fire, the energy of passion. He holds the globe in his hand. He holds the world in his hand. This is a time for you guys to be moving beyond the conflict that you've been experiencing and to emerge into a space of newness. And this is the higher vision, the energy of these feathers. Standing at the top of that metaphorical mountain, visioning in, where do you want to set your sights? This is a really good time for you guys to be visioning in the future, noticing anything within you that holds you back, releasing that and beginning to initiate the first steps of discovery to be able to actively be involved in that co-creative process of manifestation in terms of what it is that you are desiring and wanting to move forwards into. And there is something here, wholeness, the path you must follow. Your soul is calling for a shift and a change. And it may be for some of you that our current circumstances have given you a space of reflection in which you are able to begin to see more clearly the things that you need to let go or the things that have been holding you back. Wonderful people, I think I'm going to close this reading here. There's a lovely energy of a shift in this. The energy of the universe is certainly with you in creating that shift, letting go of anything that you have been using to limit your own horizons. Wonderful people, so much love to you. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 2 with the wonderful energy of the woodpecker, perseverance, consistency, keeping going, but also knowing when to rest. I also really hear that very strongly today. Let's place that, I'm not quite sure where to place that, I think just up here at the top. Beautiful, beautiful feathers. Let's thank them very much, the couple that delivered them to us. Interesting, we have the rune of ice. This is a rune of standstill. Something's not moving forwards as quickly as we might like. We then have the rune of disruption. I always liken this to Uranus, the great awakener, the planet Uranus and the energy. And now we have the blank rune. This is a rune of, new beginnings, of pregnancy almost. It's an infinite source of possibility, but what I see here is that either something is being disrupted and it's been holding you back, or there may be a dual message in this, which means things aren't moving forwards, but something is going to happen to create that shift, something unexpected. Let's just look at our other cards. So we have the death and rebirth. This is transformation. And we have Cancer, I feel. So quite a lot of emotion around you guys. Dislike of others, compromise and collaborate. King of Swords, Page of Wands. Okay, let's see what else we have. The High Priestess. Okay, I'm going to place her in the upright position. And I'm going to put these cards across here. I think we can still be able to get everything into camera here. I think. Move that over. Okay. Frustration, endurance, fulfillment. There's a move forwards here. These feathers are so tuned into the readings. So tuned into the readings. It's untrue. Dislike of others, compromise and collaborate. Really, really interesting energy here. And then we have the King of Swords and the Page of Wands. Okay, so what I'm hearing in this reading, there is frustration around you that something isn't moving forwards, or it feels stuck. Excuse me. Now, the key with the rune of ice, some people always feel its energy is sort of a bit, there is a frustration around it. The key with the rune of ice is to recognize that we can melt the ice. It can thaw. We need to kind of identify, it's almost as though we have to identify what we need to do in order to allow something to move forwards. What I hear is it feels as though maybe for some of you something is in a position of stalemate. It's not going somewhere. And this reading is asking you or inviting you to engage in an inner process of transformation. Now, it may be that the wonderful energy of disruption will create a something that causes you to find that shift forwards, to find the way forwards. But actually, I think for others, there is a need to reach out. Something or someone has been disruptive around you. I think someone, for some of you guys, has actually genuinely caused you a problem. And that it's left a bad, like left a bad taste in your mouth. That's the kind of feeling. It's quite interesting. I was finding I wanted to clear my throat, almost as if there was something stuck in my throat. It's interesting. I mean, obviously, as anybody, I will clear my throat when I'm speaking sometimes. But it actually did feel as though I'd almost breathed something in that had got stuck there. It's quite a different sort of feel to this reading. But perseverance is what's required. Perseverance, endurance. Sometimes when we face adversity and difficulty, it's in that space of adversity and difficulty that we get our greatest learning curves. Now, you are also being asked to listen to your intuition here. I think somebody around you has behaved not terribly well. It's left you with it's left a bad taste in your mouth, literally. It's got a difficult flavour to it. And that's understandable. And I think actually for some of you, they've kind of emotionally hurt you as well. We have the Cancer card, I feel. Now, the challenge here is what we do with this kind of situation. Because if we can get very stuck in our head, okay? The King of Swords, the energy of the King of Swords, again, I'm hearing a dual message with this. The energy of the King of Swords is interesting because in some ways, the people around with swords, they can be, the people energy around the court cards in swords, they can be a little bit emotionless. They're not always empathic enough. They can look at it in such a logical way that they're disassociated from the emotion. But what I'm kind of hearing, I'm hearing more a message of you being asked to evaluate. I think somebody around you has caused a problem and they have behaved rather badly. And there's frustration with them, there's difficulty with them, but it's kind of, I think the danger is it eats away inside you. And it's very easy to get into this position where we reach a stalemate. But actually, you need the energy to move forwards. Never mind the other person, you need to. As long as you are going over and over and over something and it's going nowhere, the person it's really going to eat away at is you. Now, the card Dislike of Others is interesting. It says, sometimes we form strongly negative feelings towards others. In truth, it is not them that we dislike, but their words, actions, and behaviour. If they behave better, if they didn't say the horrible things they say, or do the stuff that they do, we would actually quite like them. Now, this card asks you to try to detach from the experience of their behaviour and see them as a soul on their own unique pathway, attempting to manage their own challenging life lessons. They're just in a different space to you. And this is where the High Priestess comes in. Sitting with the card of Cancer, I feel. She is asking you to tune into your intuition, to tune into your higher self, to to travel in a way that allows you to move beyond what I would call those kind of limitations of ego, where we just get so stuck and frustrated with people because they are not in the same space of consciousness, and we just think, why are they doing that? Why would you do that? And it's really allowing you to recenter yourself so that you are actually in a position to then move something forwards, to rebalance yourself, to get your head and your heart realigned. The Five of Stones, endurance. For me, you may need to retreat. You may even have retreated a little bit in order to kind of work through this. You may have needed to retreat in order to work out what it is that you want to do and what your next course of action is. But actually, there is a course of action available to you. The card of compromise. Are you in a situation where you need to make a compromise, or are you compromising too much? Okay, this card asks you to review your position and to be sure to find a solution that takes the needs of all parties into account, including yourself. I am getting, sometimes there is a duality of messages, but I am actually getting a message clearly here that says, for some of you, someone has behaved very badly around you and it's left its mark. And that's part of the challenge that you're facing. Perseverance, remember, endurance. Keep on going. Don't give up. Don't let somebody else's attitude or opinion or actions hold you back. This is not a time. Just weigh things up and work out what you need to do. Now, there's a very interesting message here. Three of Bows, fulfillment. You do get to move something forwards. You do get to shift something forwards here, which is lovely. The Three of Bows is all about... the threes are always moving something forwards, and so something is going to shift. The card of collaborate. Sometimes we're called to develop our self-sufficiency, and this can be a valuable road to travel in the discovery of our unique and individual gifts. But this is not the same as trying to do everything all of the time ourselves. This is not a time to go it alone. This is a time to unite and work with others. I have a very clear message coming through here, which is to do with feeling as though, because somebody has behaved badly, it's almost as though the danger is that you withdraw and you lose sight of your ability to trust in collaborating with others. You need to remember that others are a multitude of different people. And yes, some people are not so great and will behave badly. Others are absolutely awesome and amazing. I mean, take all of you guys, for example. So, and take this amazing community of people. This is, for me, this community has blown me away. The way I read your comments, your shares. I mean, the integrity that comes out from you guys is mind-blowing. You are absolutely awesome. If anybody was ever falling short in faith and trust in people, just check out some of the comments, and the way people support one another here. It really is inspirational, and it brings hope. So for some of you, it's almost as though you've retreated because of someone or the actions of someone. You're needing to kind of move through that. This is the death and rebirth card. It's this transformation. It's all about transformation. Now, the Page of Wands is very interesting because this is the energy of someone new coming into your life. Three of Bows, fulfillment. It's the energy of, it's like the celebration of something moving forwards. And we have this rune of infinite possibilities. This is a rune for me of gestation, of pregnancy, of something can happen, something can emerge. I'm sitting with the dual message of this rune of disruption. I actually wonder whether we can shift our perspective to the person or people or groups of people who have behaved badly around you, and shift our perspective to recognize they taught you something. You will have learned something, and you will have in fact learned endurance and perseverance. In a funny way, people who behave very badly give us that gift. They teach us that we can actually stand on our own 2 feet. But, and again, you may have over-compromised. You may have compromised yourself, and it's time to not do that anymore. There's a weighing up here, whatever your personal situations. listening to your feelings, there is a transformation available that opens up whole new possibilities. And it's about recognizing that you can move forwards and begin to collaborate. You simply need to develop discernment. So it's this perseverance, endurance. Whoever they were, they taught you that in a funny kind of way. Page of Wands is suggesting someone new coming into your life, or a new opportunity, a new venture. There's new passion, new aliveness. It's quite youthful. There's a youthful energy here. And even if they are, even if what they're bringing doesn't have a sense of permanence about it, it's bringing new vitality into your life, new opportunities, new horizons. So there is new energy coming into you guys. There's definitely a shift, and I want to say, this card of collaborate, fulfillment, it's almost as though, you know, whatever the disruptions, and I hold with that dual message. For some of you, I think something will happen. Maybe somebody will even come in that will cause a disruption for you, but it's creating a new opportunity for you. For others, the disruption may be that your world has been disrupted by this person, these people, the circumstances, and in which case, if that is the case, again, that disruption is there in that it may be holding you back, it may be causing the frustration, but actually you're learning something about patience and perseverance, and it's the learning of that and the development of that within you that will allow you to have space to reflect, to see the areas you're needing to work on, and indeed to move forwards. It's fascinating when we leap from ice to the rune that holds the greatest amount of possibility. So, you know, really, really very big shift here. And as I said, it's really a question of really trying to stand back and just, you know, see this person as someone who's not, or people, they're just not in a space of particularly high consciousness, but my goodness me, they bring us some lessons. And guys, I can honestly resonate with this. Trust me, been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. I know what that is like. And I know the impact of, you know, people behaving badly around you and having to somehow work out how to navigate that through, so that in the end we get back into a space where we realign our own energy and can literally re-engage in life with vitality again. And that is an amazing transformation when it happens. It really is a monumental rebirthing of who we are and who we can be. Wonderful, wonderful people. So much love to you. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 3 with the wonderful energy of the pigeon feathers. Being able to say how you feel, show your feelings, show your emotions, communication, connection. Let's have a little look at our runes. So we have the rune of fertility, we have the rune of defense, and we have the rune of separation. This is interesting. Fertility, completion of beginnings. We need to fertilize the ground for our own deliverance. It always speaks of new beginnings, new opportunities. The rune of defense suggests that maybe there's stuff going on around you that you are developing an aversion to in some way. You know, when people or things or circumstances don't resonate with you. And the rune of separation is about letting go of something. It's almost like shedding a skin, moving into a new phase of being. So we have the card of love, we have the card of Mercury, mind. Gossip and drama. Allow yourself to receive, release the past. Interesting cards. Okay, Four of Swords. So there's a need to meditate. Okay, this is really interesting. Moon on the water. 4 of Stones, protection. It's interesting we have protection and the rune of defense. The Hermit, 3 of Swords. What's like our Mercury, mind? Here we are. Let's leave these through. Okay, but actually they came out the other way, guys. I need to just put them back in the right order. Right. And I understand this, this is really resonating with this rune. Okay, I think that's all still in camera, good. So, I want to say meditate. Meditate on your direction, contemplate what's going on, consider what's going on around you. You're really, really needing to keep your mind clear here. Completion of beginnings. This often signifies that you're needing to process something. The Four of Swords is always, for me, a processing and evaluation, and meditation is the right word for it, really. Moon on the water would suggest that something has happened, or something unexpected has happened. I know at the moment, to be fair, we're all living in a space of completely unexpected happenings, but this feels more immediate. It's like something's happened around you or in the immediacy of your own life. Gossip and drama, this is a very powerful card. Talking behind people's backs is one of the greatest producers of negative energy, with the potential to affect not only individuals but entire communities. Make a choice not to involve yourself in this. This card also asks that if you are unable to find anything positive to say, then please consider saying nothing. This is the card, the rune of defense. This card, it's really connecting in with this. Something isn't resonating with you. Something isn't aligning well with you. Now, whatever that is, I think you've been shown something. It's quite interesting at the moment. I think we're seeing both the absolute best in people, but in some instances we're also seeing the worst, which is a real shame, but it is true. And however challenging it is for us, it's actually quite good information if you think about it, because we see people for who they are. And you're really, just don't join in is the answer. Don't join in, because something is shifting and moving forwards for you. The Six of Bows, abundance, card of love, wonderful. Allow yourself to receive, release the past. So, sitting with protection and the Hermit too, I think that you're in a space of retreat. And I don't mean retreat as in you've run away. I mean retreat as in inner retreat, that inner space of contemplation within you. Something is needing to be let go of. A conflict. You're coming through a conflict. You're coming out the other side. But you let go of something. You release it. Now, it may be that you release something you've held within you that has caused problems for you in the past. But I don't know, I feel that there's a real flavour of liberation, actually, in this reading, which is interesting. But I don't know exactly what that liberation is. I'm sort of almost being shown lots of different pathways. The liberation that is coming because you are moving through something, but you've needed to travel inwards and sit within yourself in order to process the situation and come out with clarity. Allow yourself to receive. One of the greatest blocks in our ability to manifest our greatest desires is an inability to allow ourselves to receive. This card asks that you take some time to identify any inner beliefs, meditate on this, any inner beliefs, perceptions and attitudes that stop you from receiving, and one by one remove these resistances. Okay, right, I'm really having a very clear message coming through, which will be relevant to some of you, I dare say, though maybe not all. But I think some of you have maybe grown up with somebody who kind of blocked your ability to receive, and it's really interesting. We have, I've spoken, it comes up quite a lot in some of the readings, to do with growing up with a narcissistic family member. Now, I said I would do a webinar on narcissism, and I'm going to. It's actually scheduled during May. So guys, if you are subscribed, make sure that you press the little bell icon as well. That way you'll get notification as soon as I post the scheduling of that. But I have planned to do a live webinar on narcissism, on what that's like and the impact of that, of growing up with someone, and also how to recover from that, how to move beyond it, how to actually release the past so that we're no longer held back But the message that's coming through very clearly for some of you is you have actually grown up. That's this gossip and drama. This is the card of defense, the rune of defense, rather, the card of protection. It's like if we grow up with somebody who's very narcissistic, it makes it really, really difficult to feel that we can ever receive because it doesn't feel safe. You know, narcissists are, everything is orientated about them, and they can make you feel really wonderful sometimes, but there's always an ulterior motive attached to it. Again, I will go into depth in this in the live webinar. But what happens is that we tend to retreat. We tend to operate from within, and it's almost like we can only receive in isolation, or it's just there's complicated patterns that we develop around our ability to receive. You're being asked to let this go, to release the past, to allow yourself to receive. This is abundance coming to you. This is like your inheritance. And part of your inheritance is about allowing yourself to receive. It's removing your own blocks, loving yourself, self-love, and also allowing yourselves to receive love. I think for some of you there is the energy of love around you, and maybe you're a little afraid of allowing it in. And what you are being called to let go of is the sort of the impact of that kind of narcissistic element within the family that you grew up in, or indeed if you've had a relationship with a narcissist, the same principles apply. It's time to allow yourself to receive. You are entitled to abundance. There is a coming in of something to you here. The rune of separation, it's both a rune of separation because we are outgrowing something. We're letting go of something, but we step into a space where we receive something. It can be a rune of inheritance, a rune where we, whatever we get, as it were, whatever we receive, it comes to us because of the letting go. Release the past. Releasing the past does not mean that we forget, nor does it mean that if something bad happens, that this was okay. It means that we make a personal choice to no longer allow our history to dictate and shape our life, both now in our present time and in our future. The wonderful energy of the wood pigeons. Be real with your feelings. Don't be afraid to say how you feel, especially to yourselves. This is about communication. It is about family, of course. You know, there's a communication, connection, relationship. It's as though something of this energy of either a family member or previous relationship has somehow limited or got in the way of you being able to love yourself and to receive. You're really asked to unashamedly go out there and get. You know, allow yourself to receive love. Completion of beginnings. Let go of this stuff. You don't have to hold on to that. You don't have to buy into it. It's not who you are. You are way more than that. I know this particular message may apply to some of you and not all, but it's come through very, very strongly, so it's really important that I voice it. For others of you, it may just be that you are finding yourselves in a situation where someone or something is not resonating with you, and again you're needing to contemplate and make decisions around this person, around their behaviour, around what's going on, in order again to kind of move things forwards for yourselves. But one way or the other, you're in this space of contemplation. There is a letting go and a moving into a new space of love and indeed of abundance. So again, really big, powerful shift in and transformation in this reading. Wonderful people. So much love to you. Shed that skin and open yourself to receive. I do feel for some of you there's the energy of love around you, of someone coming in wanting to offer you something, but you have to be able to remove those fears and blocks in order to be able to receive that. So very wonderful. Yeah, let those blocks go. Wonderful, wonderful people. So much love to you. Namaste.